Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be covering some insightful topics today, really in finding a true digital marketing partner. And so, thanks again for jumping on with us. My name's Austin. I lead the sales team over here at Vital Storm, and we're super excited to have you guys join us for our discussion this morning. I've also got with me Josh Moran here. He's one of the founders at Vital Storm. He's half of the reason why we're here today. And so, I hope you heard about us or been able to explore our website. But just in case, let me introduce us. Vital Storm, we are a digital marketing agency with our expertise really ranging over the last 9 years from pay-per-click marketing, lead generation, brand awareness, websites, SEO, YouTube. The list goes on. Really kind of all things digital is things that we can take care of here at Vital Storm. And another great thing about us is we also are one of the few that specialize just in the home services industry. And so it's a perfect match that both of us are here online today. And so before we kick off the webinar, I'm going to turn things over to Josh, and then we'll jump into everything.
Awesome. Thanks, Austin. And welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're on with us. We have had hundreds and hundreds, it's no joke, thousands of conversations with home service company owners or their marketing managers or executives of some type. And through that, we have put together over these last nearly a decade, 8 insights for working with a digital marketing partner. That's one of the conversations we have most often is, how do I know who to pick? What's the right agency to partner with? I'm tired of being burned. I'm tired of having bad experiences. What do I need to know to choose the right partner in the future? And so we're thrilled to be able to share these 8 insights with you all today. And if you are a home service company owner, I believe you're going to identify with these because this is right up your alley.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're going to go ahead and dive in, guys. So the first insight that we'll be talking about today is really what we all want and need every single day, and that's leads. The real question is, are those leads qualified, and do you actually know what you're getting from your current digital marketing partner? So insight number 1 today is, are leads really qualified leads?
That's the thing, because if you are paying for digital marketing right now, you're probably getting some sort of report from that agency, or maybe you're doing it in-house. And you need to understand what you're looking at when you're reading these reports. If the reports don't tell you a story, and we'll jump into that a little bit later, but if the reports don't tell you a story of how they're impacting your campaign, how the campaigns are impacting your business, then those reports mean nothing to you. And so it's important to know what's on that list. And so this is number 1 for insights. The number 1 insight for working with digital marketing partner is understanding the data they're sending you, because the word lead can be used in a number of ways. We like to only hear it used one way. For home services, it should be somebody who is in a home who has a need and is willing to do business with you. That's a lead. So just a report on the number of phone calls that you've received over a period of time isn't enough. Certainly web visitors and things like that, it's not enough, because you all know that everyone who visits your site isn't a customer. Even everyone who calls you isn't a customer. You have people who are calling you to do business with you as a vendor. You have people who are calling you for employment. There's a whole lot of reasons why someone's calling your call center. And so when you're judging the quality of the performance from either your internal team or your agency, you need to understand what a lead is. So have that conversation with your digital marketing provider. Ask them, what is a lead? Is it just a call, or is it actually an opportunity that's on the phone ready to do service?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Josh. That's a great point. And I think, another thing to always stay on top of and know kind of that the overall outcome is always know where your money's going when it comes to digital marketing. And so that's really point number 2 today, is know where your money's going.
That's exactly right. And listen, this is also a really important insight. And we don't mean to cause any distrust between you and your digital marketing partner, but we do want you to understand how important it is to know where the money is going. What do we like to see? We like to see you pay your agency separately, possibly once a month, and through an invoice that they send you for their services and their fees. And then what we really like to see is you pay the search engines directly. That way, there's no guessing of where the money's going. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be paying your agency good money. Pay them really good money. You wouldn't want to hire a discount doctor or a discount attorney. So don't try to cheap out and hire a discount digital marketing provider. But when you enter into an arrangement with them, make certain that you know exactly where the money is going. Maybe you have a $5,000 budget. How much of that is ad spend? How much of that is fees? And you might have your own opinion about what, how much should go in each bucket, but really that should be a discussion between you and your agency, and whatever you feel comfortable with, you go forward with. But the key insight here is know where the money is going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would say that probably is one of the key frustrations in the conversations I have with home service companies on a daily basis. And I would say another frustration that kind of correlates hand in hand with that is feeling like you're locked down. You've got no control over your marketing. You have no control over your brand, which, kind of in a sense you should. I mean, you're the one paying for it. It's your company you've built. And so that's insight number 3 today is don't get locked down.
That's exactly right. Nobody likes handcuffs. Nobody wants to feel like they're trapped in a situation that they can't get out of. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a length of term or an annual commitment or agreement with your agency. In fact, we encourage that. I think it's smart for you and your agency to commit to each other for a year, because just a little insider knowledge, Austin told you, no surprise, we're an agency ourselves. The way agencies want to work, we want to run our business the same way you want to run yours, where it's efficient and it's profitable. And so when there is an agreement over an extended period of time, that allows you and your agency to plan those resources and those strategies out. I know month to month is a safe zone for you. And just speaking about us personally, we do have a lot of month to month contracts ourselves, but the real security is in a long-term relationship. So the handcuffs aren't the year agreement that you're in. The handcuffs are, don't be locked into a situation that there's not a reasonable out, right? Maybe a 60 or 90 day cancellation, where if you just can't work together, there's a way out of it. But more important than the contract itself is we've had conversations with home service companies that have come to the table in this conversation with some major frustrations. That one example is their website isn't theirs. They don't particularly own their website. I understand if you're paying installments, maybe you didn't pay a lump sum up front and you're paying installments to pay it out, and your agency is requiring you to finish that. That's one thing. But we've come across situations where the home service company themselves didn't even own their website, or it was some kind of proprietary system that no one else knew how to work on. And that was just a major handcuff on them, because they felt married to this agency when they wanted to get out and they wanted to go find something else, but they would have to start over with their website. They would have to reinvest all that time and energy and money into something new. And so if we're going to talk about the 8 insights for working with a digital marketing partner, this has to be one of them. Make sure you're not locked into a situation that is not mutually beneficial for you, and that there's not a reasonable way out of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we've all felt that feeling in one way or another, whether it's through digital marketing or your TV provider charging you thousands of dollars to cut the cable and go to streaming. But we've talked about money, contracts, leads. I think that's the big part of what goes on a day-to-day basis. But I want to shift gears just a little bit to more of the actual partnerships that you're having between home service company and digital marketing agency, if that's all right. Something I hear all the time is that the home service company is actually having to spend a lot of time teaching the digital marketing agency about their industry, the keywords they should be using, what the average ticket looks like. And that seems a little backwards. That should also almost be on a silver platter saying, hey, we already know all of this stuff. Let's hit the ground running. And so that's insight number 4 today, is have a partner who speaks your language.
Absolutely. Look, can you go hire some slick agency that knows nothing about home services, and can they go do a good job? Probably, but you're most likely going to be paying for that learning curve. There needs to be an agreement and a partnership between you and your agency where you guys understand the business. Your agency should have a clear understanding of what your average ticket is, or what it should and could be. They should understand when you have X amount of trucks, that means X amount of revenue. They should understand the nuances of the HVAC industry compared to the plumbing industry or electrical industry. They should understand the seasonality and how to be competitive in highly competitive markets. Having that understanding there is absolutely crucial. But here's the thing. Not only is it important that you have that partnership or that understanding of the same industry, but there should be a partnership in your communication, right? No chasing your agency down for information. No one likes to do that. But I also kind of want to flip the script here, Austin, if it's okay. I want to put pressure on you guys who are watching this and let you know that in a partnership, it's a two-way road. And so don't force your agency to chase you down, right? It's a partnership in this endeavor together. So hear it from one agency out there. Make your meetings with your agency. Commit to the phone calls. Respond to the emails. Read your reports. And listen, if you can't do it, Austin, what do we always say? If you can't do it, then delegate it to someone who can do it, because it's way too important to just let these things slip through. Having a regular communication with your digital marketing partner is absolutely crucial. I understand that based on the size of your budget, your campaign or your account, you may not actually be able to have a dedicated resource, a dedicated point of contact, but in many cases you can. But if you don't, then hopefully your agency has some way for you to log in and view reports on a regular basis. And there's someone there that you can at least touch base with on a monthly basis. For some larger size home service companies, we like to see weekly check-ins and things like that, because this is a partnership in this endeavor together. And so having an agency that can speak your language and that you don't have to chase down, but also they don't have to chase you down, is absolutely crucial to building a strong partnership with a digital marketing company.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think a lot of the things you just touched on there kind of leads straight into insight number 5 today, is having a partner in communication, because that's another thing that I hear more than I like, that once you get up and going, you've got launched, you've got that automatic payment going, the communication just kind of dies down between the partner and the home service company. And there's so many moving parts, not only in your campaign, but also in your business. You've got different offers and different coupons that you might be rolling out to your customers that need to be updated on the marketing side of things. And so, those things should be communicated back and forth on a regular basis. So insight number 5 today is having that partner in communication.
Absolutely. So this is so important that it's occupying 2 of the 8 insights. It's so important that you communicate. I believe the biggest difference between one agency and the next isn't necessarily the talent of their team or their strategy, although there are some out there that have great strategies and some that have no strategy. But the key here, and we're doubling down on this, 2 insights out of the 8, is the communication piece. You need a partnership. Listen, it's a relationship. And just like, if we can get a little personal here for a minute, just like any relationship in life, the reason people break up or they're no longer hanging out is because they just can't see themselves together any longer. And that is what happens between you and your agency when the polish or the shine or the new wears off. Probably it's boiled down to a breakdown in communication. And so, like I said on the last point, don't take some responsibility here and don't force your agency to track you down. Make those meetings, be a part of those calls. And if you can't be there, have someone you trust on your team do so. One of the biggest frustrations we hear about when we're talking to a home service company is they're telling us about their previous agency and how they didn't know what was going on in their campaigns. They didn't know what was happening in their account. It took a while for things to get done. Austin, out of 10 conversations, it seems like 8 conversations are singing that tune right there, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And is it because every digital marketing agency out there is terrible? No, there are, just like in any industry, there are bad players out there, bad actors, but generally what it is, it's a breakdown in communication. And so have yourself or someone on your team ensure that when you are in a relationship with an agency, that you maintain that communication. Should it be on them? Yeah, absolutely, it should be on them. But you're the one paying the bill, so make certain that the communication is top notch. You like that last insight. You want someone that speaks your language because you want to have that partnership. But now, right here, right now, that partnership is a two-way road. It takes both of us. It takes two to tango, right, Austin?
Yep, absolutely. I think another thing to be super involved with on top of communication is also your reporting, and that's something that we touched on earlier today too. But exactly what you're getting is huge to the success of the campaigns and your business. I think we've all seen it. I think we all know it. Any marketing company that you work with can have a creative team put together these flashy PDF reports that look amazing when they hit your inbox, but you open it up and the context and the data of that report, you're like, I've got no idea what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, it should be the other way around. You could just get a white piece of paper, but as long as you understand that data and know what you're getting, that's the big part of having that true partner that's willing to share that information with you. And so that's insight number 6 today, is having that transparency in reporting.
Absolutely. And we mentioned this earlier, Austin, with point number 1, which was understand what a lead is. That's the beginning of it. Now that we've got that established and we know what is being reported to us, we need to be able to look at those reports and be able to understand the story they tell us about the impact those campaigns are having on our business. Because if it's just flashy reports, slick, hey, listen, here's the thing. Digital marketing companies, we're in marketing. So we got people here that can make a report look really good, right? I mean, it can be designed and laid out nice and slick and fancy with charts and graphs, and all that's important. But if that's all it is, then it's just a fancy piece of paper or a fancy report on your screen. If it doesn't tell the story of how those campaigns are impacting your business, then it's not useful to you. And you'll find yourself no longer looking at those reports. And you're probably in that situation right now where you were getting those reports. It was important to you. You were checking them out. And then it may have been 3, 4, 6, 8 months since you actually really drilled down on a report from your agency. That's because those reports don't mean anything to you. So what you need to do is have a conversation with your digital marketing provider right now and ask them how these numbers are impacting your business. Talk to your managers. These are the numbers we're getting from our digital marketing company. How are these impacting our business? And make sure that you guys can agree on the dashboards and the reports you're receiving so that you understand and they tell the story. Going back to point number 1, if we don't know what leads are, then none of this makes sense. But now we know what leads are. Now we need to see how this impacts our business. So transparency in reporting is key. Why would you want a fuzzy report? We don't want those. We want to be able to look at the report and see very plainly and very clearly what's going on in my marketing. How is this impacting my business today?
Yeah, no, I completely agree there, Josh. I mean, this is where you see exactly what you're getting from the investment you're putting into marketing for your business. So, this honestly probably could have been number 1, but it has a huge impact, with that true partner. So, like I said earlier, another thing that I hear way too many times when I talk to home service companies is they don't know what they're getting with the return for investment, of what they're giving to their partner. And so it kind of ties into this, but, on another note is what's going on the daily day-to-day activities of that campaign is somewhat necessary to know what's going on. You don't necessarily kind of have to be there holding your marketing partner's hand, but at least having some sense of what's the plan, what's going on our marketing campaign is always nice to kind of have in your back pocket. So, that's number 7 today is no autopilot allowed.
No autopilot allowed. We say that a lot around here. Listen, a couple weeks ago, was it, Austin, that SpaceX launched its, it was history. They made history. They launched the first privately built manned spacecraft into space. And I watched it live. I don't know if everyone here on this webinar watched it live, but I watched it live. I tried to make my kids do it, and for some reason they just weren't interested. But if you didn't watch it live, you may have watched it on the news or in social media. You've heard about it. Well, the entire launch sequence is automated. Automation isn't a bad thing, but the thing about marketing at the level that home services do, where it's demand capture. Only a certain number of people woke up this morning, needed a plumber, and we can't alter that number at all unless we're going around breaking pipes and messing with people's homes. But we can't change that number. So we've got to be as efficient as we can in capturing as much of that demand. And there are autopilot solutions out there, but our philosophy is you need a talented, educated, smart team that has a system that they can execute on day after day after day. They roll their sleeves up and they put their hands in your account. Now, again, I'm not saying autopilot is bad, because the launch sequence for those rockets is really important that it's done right. But even then, at some point, when that capsule separated from the booster and then made its way from that position to the International Space Station, there were 2 highly expert trained astronauts who had been prepared their whole life for this journey, guiding that capsule to its target. And that's just how we view digital marketing. There's a science to it, and you can automate a lot of it, but we still need the strategy of a team and just the talented people. So make sure that your digital marketing partner isn't just flipping a switch and black boxing this thing where it just runs itself. There are parts of that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. There are parts of that are very, very beneficial, very, very valuable, but nothing beats having a strategy with a partner that you can talk to, and we're able to make adjustments as needed in your account and dial in just the right target. It's so important. No autopilot allowed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that leads perfectly into the last insight that we've got here today is there always should be a game plan between your marketing provider and you, the home service company. So again, you always know what's going on when it comes to your marketing efforts for your business.
Absolutely. You have to begin with the end in mind. No general or soldier is gonna, go to battle without a game plan, without a battle plan. No expedition is done without a map or charting a course. And the same thing needs to happen not only in business, have a plan for your business, but even in marketing. Having a game plan is absolutely crucial. And for home services, I don't think that plan should be any shorter or longer than 3 months. Have a 3-month plan and commit to it. And yes, you can adjust that plan as it goes, but we like to see 3 months because that gets us through at least 2 seasons in home services. Maybe you'll go from summer to fall, or fall to winter, or winter to spring, spring to summer. And understanding how the different nuances of the seasonality and how things change. But a game plan is crucial. You have to know where you're going. So if there's any one thing that you take away from this webinar, it would be that. Go directly after this webinar and call your digital marketing provider, or if it's in-house, call them in your office and say, hey, what's the game plan? Where are we going with this? Hopefully their answer is going to be something like, man, I'm so glad you asked. Let me tell you. But if it's not, and it's more like, well, we're just going to kind of keep doing what we're doing every day until we get this thing where it needs to go. Is that bad? Can they be successful for you? Maybe, but that's a problem. It's a maybe. With a plan, you have certainty. So the plan is not just going to help you understand where your agency is trying to take you. It helps them understand where you want them to take you. It also helps their team. Remember, you're talking to an agency owner here. It helps the agency's team all come together and converge on a singular plan with you on where those campaigns need to go. And so there must be a game plan. If you don't have a game plan in place for your marketing, talk to those guys today or this week and get something set up so you know where this thing is headed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a great point, Josh. And thanks for sharing all these insights today. And so to everybody that's watching and viewing today, I hope at least one of these 8 insights can be useful to you and your business moving forward. But, I think we've got a couple more minutes here, Josh. And if you guys are cool hanging on for just a few more minutes, we actually have a couple bonus insights that we'd like to share with you guys. And so, like Josh was saying, if you haven't written anything down at all today, I strongly urge you to at least write these 2 things down because they're going to be super beneficial to marketing campaigns moving into 2021, which is super crazy to say because it sounds like we're watching a movie about the future. But bonus insight number 1 today is to start looking at funnel as we move into, again, I'm going to say it again, 2021.
Yeah, it's basically 2021. And that's so crazy to see that. And like Austin said, it's like we're watching a movie. I remember growing up watching Back to the Future, and the future was flying cars, and it was 2015, wasn't it, Austin? Well,
yeah,
that's
like that.
That's in the dust, man. That's behind us. But why are we pointing out that we're living in the future? And it's because of this. One of the bonus insight number 1 is we need to be looking up funnel when it comes to our digital marketing strategy. And what I mean by that is, if you know anything about the sales funnel, up funnel is where platforms like Google Display exist, or Facebook ads, things like that, where and you may have tried those a decade ago or 5 years ago, and you may have not had success. But the tip today is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And here's why. Things have changed dramatically over the last decade in digital marketing, even over the last 5, even over the last 3 years. There's been big advancements even in the last year. And so you in home services are in a very, very competitive space now. And you are seeing the cost per click on search climb. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do search. That just means you need a partner that's going to help you be more strategic, find ways, maybe through long tail or going up funnel, to get an edge and continue to drive leads. Here's why we like to look up funnel now. Yes, it was hard to make things like that work, because if you spend $100 on marketing 5 years ago, you needed that $100 to turn into calls. Well, you still need it today. However, you get a little bit less for that $100 now. And so thinking more strategically up funnel is going to do a couple of really important things. Number 1, it's going to spread your reach. It's going to spread your digital reach so that in the long term, you can begin to generate more leads and hopefully drive costs down for those leads when you were just capturing them down here in the bottom part of the funnel. The second thing it's going to do is it could actually generate leads in the short term. You actually may generate some leads off of some display ads, some remarketing ads, or some Facebook ads. We wouldn't advise anyone going into it in the home services thinking it's going to be your number 1 lead generator. But for those of you who are looking to get a little bit more strategic, and you've got some savvy and you got a little budget, then look up funnel, because your competition's not going to be up there. They're not looking up there. They're afraid of it because they may have dabbled in it in the past and it didn't produce what they hoped it would. I'm telling you, these days things have changed. Google has learned so much about online activity And we've got, don't we have one more bonus insight,
Yep.
Austin?
Yeah. Bonus number 2 is machine learning and optimizing those conversions as we continue to move through this year.
Yeah. And that machine learning has taught Google's algorithm so much more about buying behaviors, especially in home services. Now with I know you've all probably heard of Google local service ads, used to be called Google home service ads. That is an engine for them, not to just, as a new platform, but it's also a learning engine for them, or they're learning more about consumer behavior in the home services space. And so through that, that algorithm has learned so much, and you can do a lot more with display these days. Another thing you should Google this as soon as this is over, is discovery campaigns. Discovery campaigns is a new ad platform for that Google has rolled out recently. It's something that agencies like us have been dabbling in a little over a year, but it's now out there, and it's something to be looked at. And you should talk to your digital marketing agency about it, or if it's an in-house team, talk to that team about it. But this second insight is what actually helps that first bonus insight, is that the machine learning through conversion tracking. Listen, if you're not doing conversion tracking in your campaigns, you should start immediately. In fact, you have to have call tracking in place to do it. So if you're not doing that, you need to literally you have permission to end this webinar now. Just stop now and call your agency and tell them, I need call tracking for my digital marketing campaigns. And then beyond that, have them set up and enable conversion tracking in your account. And here's why. All this time and effort is going to go over here into putting together the concept and the brainstorming of your digital marketing campaign. The strategy is going to come out of that. Then all this time and energy is going to go into building that campaign. Then you're going to launch it. Then you're going to manage that campaign out there, and it's going to produce leads. Well, what if at the end of the line, you could tell the beginning of the line the types of results it's getting and the type of results you want, and it begins to tweak and optimize based on the output. So now the input is receiving from the output. And so you can take the data from the types of conversions you're getting and feed that back into Google, so that Google, who is literally tracking tens of millions of search signals on each individual user, it's kind of scary, but all that allows them to target people, know their intent, and put the right ads in front of the right people at the right time. And so that's not possible for your Google ad account if you don't have conversion tracking in place. So key insight, bonus insight number 2 is optimize for conversions.
Yep. No, absolutely. Well, thanks again, Josh, and thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. We hope these 8 insights and these 2 bonus insights can, again, add value to you guys as we move through the rest of this year. And, and we've seen the great things that can happen for home service companies who partner with that right true marketing agency, like many of our own partners and even other partners that we have conversations with that don't even work with us. Just having that true partner really makes the difference. And so, I hope you guys, feel free to take a screenshot of this slide here, jot down our email, phone number, our website. There's a ton of free additional resources on our site that can just kind of give you guys an overall evaluation of your current online presence. And so please feel free to grab those off our website. And we'll also be sending out some information about these 8 insights to you guys after we get off today. So thanks again. We'll stay on here for a few extra minutes in case there's any Q&A. We'd be happy to answer any questions. So thanks again.